Hey folks, today we're talking about Space Marine 2. I just wanted to give you a run through of the sort of campaign, some of the missions and the multiplayer. As you know, pretty much I've always been a third person shooter guy on this channel. I haven't really posted much of that recently for obvious reasons, but I still do occasionally like the odd shooting game, and I certainly like third person just because you get to see your character. If there's any customization on the armor, you get to see it. And I've had my eye on this game for quite some time. I finally went ahead and picked it up. I waited for some initial reviews to come in, which I always think is smart. I don't think you should go and waste your money, especially when enough content creators get games for free these days that you can just wait to make your own mind up. Now, I paid £32 for this game. I got a key for it, and I decided that I'm going to make the plunge, I'm going to buy the game, and I'm just going to play through it. These days, I'm not a super hardcore gamer, to be completely honest with you, and I'm more than happy to spend, say, £30 on a really, really nice campaign that gives me 15 to 20 hours. It's like the price of a couple of takeaways, and if the game fulfills my needs and I've enjoyed it, then that's great. If there's more, like multiplayer starts hitting, I start replaying missions, I replay the campaign at a harder difficulty, for example, then obviously I'm getting more and more value. But what I was looking for this game in particular was just a nice solid campaign experience. And to be honest, I enjoyed it. Now, my initial reaction, as you can see on screen, was like, wow, there's so many enemies on screen. And the performance wasn't the best. I had to watch an optimization guide. And even then, sometimes DLSS wouldn't work. Sometimes performance mode wouldn't work. It was a little bit hit and miss on the frame rate. So hopefully they can fix that. And I believe the issue for that is due to the fact they're using their own in-house engine. Now, there are tremendous amounts of enemies on screen in this game, and all the enemies you can see, you can shoot and interact with. This is from the team that made World War Z, and I do believe, I'm not confirming it, but I'm pretty sure that in the future there will be a Horde addition to the game. If anyone's ever seen the World War Z zombies, like Horde mode, this is where you get floods and floods of enemies, and that will be really interesting to play through. So the way the game works initially is you can parry, you can, get people low enough just to kill them, with guns, grenades, just like any other game. But you can also when it flashes blue, if you press the C button, you can grab them, slam them down. That then staggers all the enemies around you. And quite often you have to get into a scenario where you're sort of chaining parries, or you are using some sort of CC to get rid of all the enemies. As you can see up ahead, all these enemies that are pushing you are actually real. And initially I was blown away. And then after about an hour or two, I felt like I'd played the whole game. And I felt like, wow, this is really fun, but there's nothing else to it. I'm doing some parrying. Bear in mind, this is like the very first mission, because I don't want to do any spoilers for you. But I was like, oh, you can see here, I'm not used to the parrying system. I'm not used to anything. But when it flashes blue, you can parry, you can execute, you get your armor back, etc. Armor. So it kind of promotes fighting. You can pop your ultimate there, and then you get some kind of like damage leech, so you can get your HP back. So the whole idea is you want to be fighting. Now, after about 2 hours, I was like, okay, I've done the parrying, I've done the combat, I've seen all the enemies on screen. What else is to the game, really? And I began to think to myself, well, maybe this is too simple. Maybe I do need more. Like we like to moan that all games are overly complex, and we like more. But the more and more I played it, I began to think, actually, I'm enjoying the simplicity. I'm enjoying the simplicity of the fact that I can very simply, pick up the game, play the game. I don't need to do any unlocks. I don't need to learn a skill tree. And that's not to say it's simple. It's still difficult. I still died during this. I played it on the second to hardest difficulty, right? I'll skip through here because we've obviously got loads of... Here's like kind of a mini boss. Sometimes you get like mini bosses like this lictor that you have to fight here. There you can see me getting more used to the parry, and then you have this cool, and once you've parried, you can sometimes shoot them with the gun to kill them. Um, I began to enjoy the simplicity of the game. You know, if I was to explain this game, I think recently the CEO may or may not have left a comment that basically said he doesn't like the fact that modern games try to shove morals down your throat. They're trying to shove ideologies down your throat. Sometimes you just want to sign into a game and just kill some stuff and just have a grand old time. And that's what this was. You know, it wasn't the most mind-blowing complex game with new innovative mechanics that you've never seen before. You know, it kind of mimics World War Z, Doom Eternal, those kind of games, Gears of War, you know, and it's, you know, it's a solid fun game. That's what I was finding. The AI, they revive you when they can, when they're not getting CC'd or whipped up by a boss. The AI was very responsive. I didn't have any problem with the AI in this game at all. In fact, I actually think the AI was probably too good, and at times just straight carried me. To be honest, sometimes I was like picking off a few enemies to the side and my team were wiping everybody out. Now, this game is obviously co-op, and I think you'd have an absolute fantastic time playing this game in co-op, much more so than you would me playing solo. However, I didn't know anybody that owned the game or wanted to play co-op at the time, so you know that's how it is. So you can see that sometimes the boss gets you. You can also see, like here, just how many enemies are on screen. All these little rats and rodents. These are all real enemies that you have to fend off and fight with the flamethrower. I'm getting battered, right? And I found it quite charming. I think come the end of the campaign, I felt like I'd had enough. Like, I'd had the experience I wanted to. I'd killed all the enemies. I'd got the simplicity down. And I'm thinking it was just long enough. Any longer, and I might have begun to think, this needs a bit more pacing. This is dragging a little bit. But it lasted, I think it was about 9 to 10 hours on, maybe 10 hours on one of the harder difficulties. And so the way the kind of campaign works is, as you're fighting, your other team are doing things. So imagine saying Gears of War, you've got Cole and Baird, you take the right flank, we'll take the left, and then you go and choose one and you run that scenario. You can then go after you've completed the campaign and see what they did and play as them. So you can go ahead and play as the guys that jump down and save you, and so there's a whole kind of extra campaign. Then there's kind of the campaign of, you know, leveling your character classes up in a kind of co-op-y style action game, and then you can take them into multiplayer, or you can level up through multiplayer, and then there's going to be a horde mode. And I think it's just a solid game. It's a good piece of fun. I'll show you some multiplayer action just now. If we just swap over here, this was a game I played yesterday. So if we say pull up into this game here, let's find a good one. I think this was a good one. So you can see here, you can choose your class. There's limited to 2 each of the classes, so you can be heavy, sniper, and they've each got their own little unique abilities. So for example, this one has a blocking shield, one has a grappling hook, one has the ability to jump up and down with the rocket packs. There's the sniper. I'm probably forgetting one of them, but yeah, I've only played a little bit of it. This was like the first, I think it was like level 3 here, and I actually found it enjoyable. I don't know if this is the good game. I had a game where I went like 15-0. I don't necessarily think this is the good game. It's just some footage. Now, I think this might actually be the game where I got absolutely rolled. Because, you know, when you're brand new to a game like this, you say, I'm parrying, so you can parry. And yes, this guy's rocking me. But if you can think there, I stalled him out for 3 or 4 seconds. And if you had a team on you that could, say, latch onto him, pull him, you know, nade him, then it's kind of... When I played the multiplayer initially, my first impressions were, oh, I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this. It's really, really simple. But again, sometimes you just want that simple charm. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. It doesn't have to be the most world-winning multiplayer of all time, right? Sometimes you just want to load in and shoot some guys and kill some people in a game and in a setting that you like, you know? So you have the health, you have you have all this stuff. You've got the health, the shields. We're playing this kind of conquest, capture the hill kind of game mode right now. I'm the mulcher here at the back, raining down. And yes, it is quote simple. And yes, when you get outnumbered, there's not a lot you can do currently at my skill level because I've not played the game a lot. But it is going to be a game about who stacks up the most, who groups up. But I mean, that's every multiplayer game ever. You still can have some good old fun on this. Again, I don't know the maps or anything like that. There's only a few little gripes I have, and I have to hold all the games to the same standard. I like to be balanced and fair on this channel. Sometimes I'll get put on a server where every single player has 150 ping, which personally is unacceptable. I'll moan at Gears of War 5 for that, so I absolutely will hold the same standards for other games. I'm not deluded. That's unacceptable. Sometimes, there are no ranked games as far as I'm aware, and that means sometimes you're just joining into a game in progress that you lose. And then you can stay in the queue and get in a lobby, which is fine, but then sometimes it seems to kick you out the lobby, or you don't stay in the lobby, and then you end up rejoining another game that isn't beginning, and you're halfway into it. And that can feel a bit rubbish, I'll be honest, and that needs sorting. Balance-wise, absolutely no idea. I've not played the game enough to know if the game is balanced or good or fun. But there you can see the jetpack guy. I was like, when he's landing, I'm like, do I parry this guy? Where's he gone? But somebody took him out from the sky. I'm getting used to this. So I've got a grenade, a shield. I've got the weapon swaps. I have a little pistol as well. Strangely, there seems to be no mouse sensitivity on this game, which is weird. There is crossplay, however, I've only played against PC players, so that's a weird one. Maybe it prioritizes PC, and then if the game dies down, it will pull in Xbox/PlayStation people. I think that's how that will work. I'm not too sure, but it is crossplay. And I have enjoyed it. I genuinely have enjoyed it. Initially, when I first played the game, I was like, this is a bit simple. This is a bit been there, done that. But actually, after a while, the charm started to kick in. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to play Space Marine 2 for the next 10 years, or I'm going to play it for the next 2 weeks. I don't know these days. I pick up my games and I put them down, and I'm very open and honest about that. Sometimes you're just not feeling it. Like as I've got older, you just some days or weeks you just ain't really in the mood to play games. It's just the way it is. This week, for example, I've been learning to play chess. I don't know why. My brain just wanted to do that, so I've been playing a bit of chess. But in terms of this game, you've got ammo boxes on the floor to replenish. You've got ridiculous flashbangs. I will say that. They've got the Gears of War 5 flashbangs, which are just crazy. However, I want to say it suits the game, but sometimes you are in a situation where you are outnumbered, and a flashbang can actually help you get out of that situation. Because obviously there's no cover you can take. Obviously here you can get different angles. There's all sorts going on. This guy landed on me and I thought, oh shit, he missed, and then I got double teamed. We're all playing on this objective, and sometimes as well, we've got to be honest, the melee animations, whether it's the kill cam or whatever's happening on screen, when some guy is meleeing you, it is a bit confusing. The guy can be jittering, lagging, like visually lagging. It's a bit hard to read, and obviously when you're trying to do parries and you're trying to maneuver out of the way, I think close quarter combat has to be crisper. I am not going to sit here and say this is the most polished, perfect multiplayer. It's absolutely not. But like then, nading to the left side, forcing him to roll to the right, and then killing him. Sometimes simplicity is nice, right? What this game reminds me of? I don't know if this is a really, really, really old reference, so you probably might not even know what I'm talking about. On the Xbox 360, there was a Transformers demo. And back in the day, the way gaming was, you could play these demos forever, and they were online and they had servers. I don't know how it worked, but we used to play this Transformers demo all the time. I think we ended up buying the full game, and sometimes like you find a little simple combat game. It doesn't have to be the most in-depth. It doesn't have to be, this class, this meta, this. Sometimes you just like here I was like, oh god, I almost rolled off the edge, and then I was like, wait, can you roll off the edge? I'm not sure. And then I panicked, and then I threw myself off the edge. So yes, you can roll off the map to your death. Yeah, some games are just a steamroll, but as everybody gets used to the game, that games will get tougher. People will get more used to what's going on. Um, there are some things like as you level up your class, you're going to have much different guns. I won't say better because I'm unsure of balance. But as you rank up your class, there are a couple of guns, I think, for each class. Now, they could be absolutely broken. And then, in a way, that's kind of annoying because you'll just be slaughtering new players with better guns. But that might not be the case. That might not be the case at all. So I won't say that. I'm just giving you an air of caution there. But overall, I've enjoyed the game. I think it's been enjoyable. And I think, as a product, there's no wokeness in there. There's no morals. They're not trying to shove anything down your throat. You're just playing a big super soldier, killing stuff, and the combat's fun. It's not the most mind-blowing game of all time. I've seen people say, how unbelievably crazy it is and whirlwinding. And listen, I don't think it's that good, but it's an enjoyable experience for sure. And I'm glad I purchased it. I don't know how long I'm going to carry on playing it. But I'm not regretting my purchase, and often it's very easy these days to buy a game and regret your purchase. So, at least it's got that going for it. The FPS does need to be improved. I think there's a lot of plans for future content, that every game has to have that these days, like a roadmap of content, don't they? So yeah, it's a game that I'll probably play occasionally and pick up, and I have no regrets. And I think it would be more fun playing with the team, more fun playing co-op. I'm only playing this on my own, which really is probably like the lowest experience of the game, and I'm still enjoying it. So, that's my quick roundup of Space Marine. I thought I'd just put a video out there. As always, leave a comment and a like. Take it easy, folks.